Hey guys, Dean of DVD. Hope you're doing well. Part, what would this be? 3. Sorry. Part 3 of my Criterion collection pickups from Barnes & Noble during the 50% off sale. Really excited about the couple that I have here. I couldn't find the one almost anywhere. Finally found it and really excited to have it. The other one was kind of one I wasn't planning on getting, but got anyway. I'd read some things on YouTube while I was out shopping and decided to get this one, and I'm really glad I did. It's an extraordinary film. You know, documentaries might be one of the hidden gems of film. I say hidden. Not everybody's always interested in a documentary unless the topic really, opens up to them or they have an interest in it. But I find that most documentaries, at least the ones on the Criterion collection, are ones that absorb me pretty quickly. Whether it be Grey Gardens or the Beals of Grey Gardens or Crumb or certainly Hoop Dreams. These are all ones that have grabbed my attention in a big way. Monterey Pop Festival, documentary of sorts, I suppose. What was a documentary? Even Give Me Shelter. I shouldn't say even Give Me Shelter. I've had Give Me Shelter. It was probably one of my first Criterions, either that or Brazil. I don't remember which one was first, but Give Me Shelter is a great movie of the Stones, including Altamont and the death that took place there. So that's a pretty cool movie. Anyway, I ramble, only for about a minute. I'm talking about Peter Davis, Hearts and Minds. This is, of course, the documentary on the Vietnam War, in particular on Vietnam and the impact our presidents had there, the tiny villages and the villagers that were impacted by U.S. bombing or U.S. fire that really devastated South Vietnam and to some extent North Vietnam. So there's a lot of stuff in here, and the extras on here are longer than the movie. The movie itself is 112 minutes long, but there are 2 hours of unseen footage. So that is pretty cool. What it says on the back is it's a startling and courageous film. It's a landmark 1974 documentary that unflinchingly confronted the United States' involvement in Vietnam at the height of the controversy that surrounded it. Using a wealth of sources from interviews to newsreels to footage of the conflict and the upheaval it occasioned on the home front, Davis constructs a powerfully affecting picture of the disastrous effects of war. Explosive, persuasive, and wrenching, Hearts and Minds is an overwhelming emotional experience and the most important nonfiction film ever made about this devastating period in history. So it's 112 minutes, 1974 color, monaural, 1.85 to 1 aspect ratio. Some pretty nice extras, but the main extra is those 2 hours worth of extra footage. It's Spine 156. Of course, it's remade because you've got the dual edition Blu-ray plus DVD signed off with Peter Davis. Pretty thick book on this puppy, too. Pages is 40 or so. Yeah, for like 45 pages worth of stuff here. So you've got all sorts of stuff in here. This is not for everybody. I mean, there's a scene here where a young North Vietnamese soldier, I assume, has a gun put to his head and the trigger is pulled. And he does die. And there's other scenes that show quite a bit of blood and so on. There's some burials that take place that are pretty emotional of children and family members from South Vietnam, as well as U.S. folks. It was a strange conflict or war. I call it the Vietnam War. I don't know if we ever declared war, but whatever. It was a strange period of time, and one that good to remember because, as has been said many times, those that fail to learn from the lesson of history are doomed to repeat it. Let's hope we're not doomed to repeat anything. So that was that one. And the other one, as I said, I had a really hard time finding. I think it was at the first place I went. And I thought, well, I'm not going to get them all here because I want to make the video. So I went on, and then none of the other ones had it until I went to Wilkes-Barre, Pennsylvania. And they finally had it. It's called Breaking the Waves. It's a film by Lars von Trier, or I think Trier is how I've been told to pronounce the name, but I just saw a video on the history of film, and they pronounced it Trier, Lars von Trier. So it's either Trier or Trier. I think in another video I tried Trier and Trier, but it is Trier. That is one pronunciation, or Trier. It's one or the other. Anyway, interesting cover. A lot of people say they didn't like the cover. I heard people say they didn't like the cover on YouTube. I like it. I love the sea and the rocks and the sky, and it really. This sums up a lot of things about the movie. Just this violent sea and person standing alone there on the rocks, and it's a strange movie. I'll give you the gist of it. Well, I'll just read the back. Lars von Trier, or Trier, became an international sensation with his galvanizing realist fable about sex and spiritual transcendence. In an Oscar-nominated performance, Emily Watson stuns as Bess, a simple, pious newlywed in a tiny Scottish village who gives herself up to a shocking form of martyrdom after her husband, Stellan Skarsgård, is paralyzed in an oil rig accident. I stumble on his name, but I know him. He's been in a bunch of stuff. You'll recognize the actor. He's never a lead, but he's always, well, I shouldn't say never. He's been a lead in some stuff, but you'll recognize him when you see him. You've probably seen him in something as a bit player or something. Anyway, after he is paralyzed in an oil rig accident, she martyrs herself up. Breaking the Waves, both brazen and tender, profane and pure, is an examination of the expansiveness of faith and of its limits. Lots of extras. This is a 4K digital restoration, supervised by the director. 5.1 sound surround. It's 159 minutes. Man, you know, have a cup of coffee when you're watching this one. 1996 color, 5.1 surround, 2.35 to 1 aspect ratio. Should look good on your widescreen television. Yeah, lots of stuff on here. Commentary, deleted and extended scenes with commentary by the director. That's a nice thing about a more modern movie on the Criterion Collection. You know, you get to get that director's perspective. You know, I wish Woody Allen would do that with his films. He's reluctant to do that. His films are his films. He doesn't want to talk about them, at least not in a commentary sense. I can sort of understand that. I mean, a lot of these commentaries is long silences and stories that don't have anything to do with the movie, and then you're watching the movie and you're hearing about, you know, some dinner they went out to or something after one of the scenes. It doesn't always jive with me, but when it does, a commentary can be really good. And I wish people wouldn't feel like they had to fill all the silences with some sort of blathering whatever in these commentaries. I have to think of a really good commentary I've heard and reference it on one of my videos, because I've heard good ones and I've heard bad ones, and certainly I'm looking forward to this one, to hear what the director has to say about Breaking the Waves, because it's not an easy film to understand at first, I don't think. There are some complexities here. I understand the basic plot, don't get me wrong. I understand what she does and so on, but there's some other subplots and some things that I'm not really 100% clear on. I'll watch it again. It's a movie you watch again. That's the simple part of it. So anyway, guys, Breaking the Waves and Hearts and Minds, those are the part 3 of my pickup. There's at least going to be a part 4, and I think there might be a part 5. So hold on to your seats. It's going to be a bumpy ride, but hopefully an enjoyable one as we take a look. And then I'll do a final video, I think, of everything I've gotten in kind of a quick succession just to wrap it all up so you can see the full haul, and that'll be the last video. All right, guys, take care.